Hello dear guys, welcome to my new video on human testes. In last video I have told you about the structure of scrotum, and in that video you already have seen that how the testes are located in the scrotum. Okay, so here we are going to see the detailed information about the testes. So here it is shown that testes are the primary sex organs. Okay, or these are the gonads in the humans or gonads in the animals. So first question is that why testes are regarded as the primary sex organs? Okay, so testes are called as the primary sex organs because without the testes the act of sexual reproduction or the act of fertilization, process of fertilization is incomplete. Okay, it is not possible to fertilize without the involvement of the testes, because we know that testes plays very important role in the formation of the sperms. Okay, so as testes produces the sperm, so that's why they are regarded as the primary sex organs. When we talk about the location of the testes, okay, we already know, as we have seen in our previous video, that human testes are located in the scrotal sacs or in the scrotum. Okay, and we also have seen that they are extra abdominal in condition. Extra abdominal in condition, that means in the human beings the testes are found outside the abdomen. Okay, in last lecture we already have seen that up to the 7th month of the development the testes are found in the lower region of the abdominal cavity, but after the 7th month or during the 7th month of the development, that means when we are in the womb of our mother, at that time the testes from the abdomen, they enter into the respective scrotal sacs via or through the inguinal canal. Okay, so this is about the location. In all human beings we see that testes are found in the scrotal sacs. About certain animals like whales, dolphins and elephants, the testes are found inside the abdomen. Okay, that means there are certain animals in which the testes can be found inside the abdomen, and such type of testes are called as the intra-abdominal. So here these are few examples of the animals in which the testes are found inside the abdomen. About the origin, we can say that human testes are mesodermal in origin. That means they are derived from the mesoderm of the embryo. About their color, the human testes appears pinkish in color. About their measurements, testes measures near about or average 4 cm in length, 3 cm in thickness and 2.5 cm in width. Okay, so this is about the introductory part. Then later we are going to talk about the coverings on testes. Okay, so the testes is each testes is get covered with the 3 layers on it. Okay, this is the tunica albuginea, tunica vaginalis and tunica vasculosa. So each testis is covered with these 3 layers. Now in this figure we can see the coverings found on the testes. Okay, just see the figure very carefully. This is the pinkish colored structure I have shown over here. So this is the testes. Okay, the oval shaped testes I have shown with the pinkish colored. You can see the labeling. So this is the testes. So first of all, it is said that the testes is, each testis is covered externally by a layer, and that layer is called as tunica albuginea. See over here, the labeling is tunica albuginea, and this is the gray colored, you can see this is the gray colored layer, this is called as the tunica albuginea. So we will talk about this layer. So it is said that the testis is externally covered with this tunica albuginea. Okay, so first of all just see what is the tunica albuginea. So the word tunica, it is related with the layer in biology or in the physiology, and the word albiginia, it is related with the white, okay, white color. So tunica albiginia, it covers the testes. It consisting of the collagen fibers, or it is made up of the collagen fibers. That's why the word albiginia is over here. So this is the layer of the connective tissue which is made up of the collagen fibers. This is about the tunica albiginia. You can see in this figure, this tunica albiginia externally covered by one layer and internally also covered by one layer. So inside the tunica, this is the tunica albiginia. You can see inside the tunica albiginia, I have shown, this is the red colored layer I have shown over here, and outside the tunica albiginia, this is one layer which is shown with the by two layers. Okay, so this is the one covering, you can see the labeling, the green and the outer black. Okay, so that is the tunica vaginalis. So testes externally covered with the tunica vaginalis. So tunica vaginalis is the covering that found outside the tunica albiginia, and this tunica vaginalis is a double layered. You can see this green is the first layer or inner layer of the tunica vaginalis, and outer one is the black. So black is the outer layer of the tunica vaginalis. So green is the inner layer of the tunica vaginalis, and this black is the outer layer of the tunica vaginalis. And inside these two layers, you can see this is the cavity. Okay, this is the cavity, and the cavity is called as the coelomic cavity. Okay, so the cavity found inside the tunica vaginalis is called as the coelomic cavity, and this coelomic cavity is filled with the fluid. Okay, inside this cavity there is a fluid, and this fluid help in sliding for the testes. Okay, so this is about the outer layer that is found on the tunica albiginia. Now we will talk about the on the inner side of the tunica albiginia. So this is the tunica albiginia, and inside the tunica albiginia there is one more layer that surrounds the testes, and this layer is called as tunica vasculosa. Actually I have shown this layer with the red color, but in real it is bluish in color. And this tunica vasculosa, it is consisting of the blood capillaries. So the capillaries are found in it. Okay, so this is about the coverings on the testes. One more point I can tell you about this tunica vaginalis. Okay, so this tunica vaginalis, actually it is the incomplete layer of peritoneum. This tunica vaginalis is the incomplete layer of peritoneum. I just told before few minutes that the testes were found in the abdominal cavity before the 7th month of the development, and over there in the abdominal cavity this testis was covered with this tunica vaginalis. Okay, and it is the incomplete peritoneum layer, and we already know that the abdominal cavity internally it is covered with the peritoneum. Okay, and as we can see, after this testis entering into the scrotal sacs, also this tunica vaginalis persist on these testes as an incomplete layer of the peritoneum. So we can say that the testis is actually abdominal in origin. That means before the 7th month of the development it was found in the abdomen. So this was about all the coverings found on the testes. In this figure, okay, we can see this is the pinkish colored testes. Okay, this is the pinkish colored testes, and outside the testes just we have seen this is the tunica albiginia. I have shown only one layer in this figure, so this is the tunica albiginia. Now you can see over here from this tunica albiginia these fibers are arises. This is the one fiber, this is the second fiber, this is the third fiber. Okay, I have shown such fibers. Okay, so from the tunica albiginia the fibers arises, and these fibers they separate the testes into many lobules. Okay, you can see this is the one first lobule, this is second lobule, this is third lobule. Okay, in this way 200 to 300 lobules are formed in each testis due to these fibers which are arising from the tunica albuginea. Okay, next figure. So this figure is showing the detailed structure of the testes. Okay, see the figure carefully. You can see, as I told just right now, these are the lobules. This is first lobule, this is second lobule, this is third lobule, this is fourth lobule. So these are the lobules found in the testes, and each lobule, it contains the convoluted structure that is called as the seminiferous tubule. So this is the seminiferous tubule, can be seen over here. Seminiferous tubule is also found in this lobule. That means all the lobules, they contains the seminiferous tubules, and the number of seminiferous tubules found in each lobule varies from 1 to 3. Okay, so this is about the seminiferous tubules. Okay, you can see that all these seminiferous tubules, they converge towards the posterior end of the testis. This is the posterior end of the testis. Just see, this is the posterior end of the testis. Look at towards the arrow. Okay, posterior end of the testis, and all these seminiferous tubules or all these lobules, okay, all these lobules, they converge towards this posterior end. Okay, and they opens into the tubular structure. Okay, all these seminiferous tubules, they opens into the tubular structure, and that tubular structure is called as the rete testis. That is the rete testis. That means we can say that all these seminiferous tubules opens into the tubular structure, and that tubular structure is called as rete testis. One more labeling you can see over here. This is the mediastinum. Okay, this whole part is called as the mediastinum. It is the vertical column like this. It is the vertical column found in the posterior region of the testes. You can see this is the tunica albuginea, outermost layer. From here also this is the tunica albuginea, and it project inside. Tunica albuginea project inside, and it forms a column over here, and that vertical column is called as the mediastinum. So this mediastinum, it supports the rete testis. What is the function of mediastinum? It supports the rete testis. Okay, and here seminiferous tubules, they opens into this rete testis. Okay, next to that you can see from the rete testis, okay, the 12 to 20 small tubular structures arises. This is the first, this is second, this is third, this is fourth. So 12 to 20 small tubular structures arises from the rete testis, and you can see these structures, they pierces the tunica albuginea. This is the tunica albuginea, this is the tunica albuginea, and by piercing this tunica albuginea, they goes outside the testes, and these tubular structures are called as vasa afferentia. So these are the vasa afferentia. As the sperms are produced in these seminiferous tubules, these sperms, they enter into the rete testis, and from these rete testis, the sperms carried out by these vasa afferentia, and these sperms are brought about in this next structure, which is called as the epididymis. So you can see from here up to here. So this is the epididymis. That means see the communication between the tubular structures found in the rete testis. The first tubule you can see is the seminiferous tubule. In this seminiferous tubule, the sperms are produced. These sperms, these are poured into this rete testis. From this rete testis, the sperms are carried by this vasa afferentia. From this tubular vasa afferentia, the sperms are poured into this epididymis. So this is the epididymis. We will see detail about the epididymis in next video. And from this epididymis, the sperms are collected by this tubular structure, which is called as the vas deferens. So this is the vas deferens which collects the sperms, and these sperms are then carried towards the next part. So this is about the structure of the testes. Okay, here you can see I have shown one lobule over here. So this is one lobule. Okay, this is the lobule, and in that lobule I have shown this is the seminiferous tubule. So from here up to here, this is the seminiferous tubule. You can see this is the lateral side of the lobule, and this is the posterior end of the lobule. So this is the base of the lobule, and the base is broad, you can see, and towards the posterior side the lobule becomes narrow. You can see this is the narrowing of the lobule. Now let's take a look of this seminiferous tubule. The two seminiferous tubules are shown over here. This is the one, this is the second. So we can see seminiferous tubule shows convoluted as well as straight part. Okay, the convoluted part is shown over here, and this is the straight part of the seminiferous tubule. That means seminiferous tubule shows both these parts, convoluted as well as the straight part or the straight region. And this straight region of the seminiferous tubule, it is also called as the tubuli recti. Okay, and this tubuli recti, it opens into the rete testes. Okay, so as the sperms are produced in these seminiferous tubules, they are finally poured into the rete testes over here. So in next figure, this is the transverse section of the human testes. Okay, this is the TS of the testes. So if you take the transverse section of testes, you will look the testes like this. So here you can see it shows the circular structures. Okay, this is one circular structure, this is another, and this is the another third. So these circular structures are called as the seminiferous tubules. This is one seminiferous tubule, second seminiferous tubule, third seminiferous tubules. All these are the seminiferous tubules. And you also can see in between these seminiferous tubules, the connective tissue is found. So this is the connective tissue. Then later you can see a small bunch of cells also found in between these seminiferous tubules, and this bunch of cells is called as the interstitial cells, or the cells of Leydig. Okay, so this is the outermost layer, that is the tunica albuginea, that is shown over here. So now we will see the detailed structure of the seminiferous tubule. So this is the single seminiferous tubule, you can see over here. Okay, now see, externally each seminiferous tubule is lined by the basement membrane. So this is the black colored structure, black colored line, this is the basement membrane. And you can see on this basement membrane the cells are arranged. Okay, the two types of cells you can see, these are arranged on the basement membrane. So first type of cell, that is called as the germinal epithelium or germinal epithelial cells. And second, these are the conical shaped cells. Okay, this is the conical shaped cell, this is the conical shaped cell, and this is the conical shaped cell. So these conical shaped cells or pyramid like cells are called as the Sertoli cells. The labeling you can see, Sertoli cells. And these are the germinal epithelial cells which are cuboidally shaped. Okay, so you can see these are the germinal epithelial cells. Okay, which are responsible for the production of sperms. Okay, so you can see these germinal epithelial cells, they divide. Okay, and they forms, these are the red color cells I have shown over here. Germinal epithelial cells divide to form the spermatogonium. Okay, just keep in mind, these spermatogonium, they again get converted or they divide into the another type of cells. These are called as the primary spermatocytes. Okay, primary spermatocyte. Then later these primary spermatocyte, they divide to form these secondary spermatocyte. You can see in the figure, secondary spermatocyte. And secondary spermatocyte, they converted into the spermatids. Okay, and spermatids finally they get converted into the sperms. Okay, you can see these are the black colored structures I have shown here with the tails. So these are the sperms, or they are also called as the spermatozoa. Okay, in this way you can see that how these sperms or spermatozoa are produced from these germinal epithelial cells in this figure. Okay, so this is the structure of the seminiferous tubule. Here also you can see one more thing, just inside the seminiferous tubule, this cavity. Okay, this is the cavity of the seminiferous tubule, and in this cavity the sperms they found attached to the seminiferous tubules. sorry, Sertoli cells. So this is the Sertoli cells, and to these Sertoli cells the sperms are get attached with their heads. You can see this is the head of the sperm, this is the tail of the sperm. Okay, so sperm is attached to the Sertoli cell with the help of their head. Here also you can see with their heads the sperms are attached to the Sertoli cells, and this is the cavity of the seminiferous tubule. In this lecture we can see about the structure of these Sertoli cell. Sertoli cells are also called as sustentacular cells. Okay, these are also regarded as the sustentacular cells. You can see it is the pyramid shaped cell which is resting on the basement membrane, and this is the nucleus of a cell. Basically it is said that the Sertoli cell has irregularly shaped nucleus. Okay, but I have shown here the oval nucleus. You can see I have shown the red colored structure over here on the Sertoli cell, and this is the receptor for FSH. Okay, this is the red color structure shown on the membrane of this Sertoli cell, and this is the receptor for the follicle stimulating hormone. So I have shown this is a triangular molecule of the follicle stimulating hormone. So this FSH, it comes, okay, this molecule comes and get bind over here. Okay, so what happens after the binding of the FSH molecule to the FSH receptor on the Sertoli cells? These Sertoli cells, they get activated and they secrete the spermatogenic substance. Okay, these Sertoli cells, they secrete the spermatogenic substance, and that spermatogenic substance, it nourishes the sperms, because in last figure we have seen the sperms are connected to these Sertoli cells with their heads. So sperms are get nourished by the glycogen rich substance by these Sertoli cells. Here we are going to talk about the functions of the Sertoli cells or sustentacular cell. Okay, so as I told just right now, Sertoli cells has FSH receptors. We have seen that. Okay, and the function of these FSH receptors also we have seen. The Sertoli cells also responsible for the secretion of the inhibin. So this inhibin, it stops the secretion of FSH. Okay, that means suppose that if there are too many molecules of this FSH, they are coming and they binding to the receptors on the Sertoli cells. Okay, and then the Sertoli cell is going to produce the spermatogenic substance, and this spermatogenic substance, they are going to nourish the sperms. But for now the nourishment of the sperm is took place. Suppose that the sperms get nourished, and now we do not need this FSH. So to stop the secretion of FSH, the Sertoli cells, they secrete one more hormone, and that is called as the inhibin. So this inhibin, it signals the anterior pituitary to stop the secretion of the follicle stimulating hormone. Next function of this Sertoli cell, they secrete androgen binding protein. Okay, they secrete androgen binding protein. In last figure we have seen in between the seminiferous tubules the Leydig cells are found, and these Leydig cells, they secretes or they produces the testosterone, that is the male androgen. Okay, and that testosterone, it brings out the development of the sperms. Okay, so what this androgen binding protein actually does, this androgen binding protein, it bring that androgen, or it bring that testosterone inside the seminiferous tubules, and that testosterone concentration inside the seminiferous tubule increases, and that is responsible for the development of the sperms. So in this way we can see that in the seminiferous tubules the sperms are produced. Okay, and the Sertoli cells, they also nourishes the sperms. Here you can see the structure of the Leydig cell. Basically Leydig cells are polyhedral in shape. You can see in this figure it is a polyhedral in shape. The nucleus of a Leydig cell, it is not found in the center, it is away from the center, so it is called as eccentric nucleus. In the Leydig cells, you can see these are the blue colored vacuoles are found, and these vacuoles, they contains the lipids. And these Leydig cells, they produces the male androgens such as testosterone and dihydrotestosterone. So the male androgenic hormones are produced by these Leydig cells. Finally, we will see about the functions of testes. So already we have seen testes plays very important role in the process of spermatogenesis. That means testes produces the sperms. Okay, so this phenomenon actually takes place in the seminiferous tubules. Testes are also responsible for the production of the male androgens or male sex hormones such as testosterone and dihydrotestosterone. So this testosterone and dihydrotestosterone, they regulate the secondary sexual characters in male, as well as testosterone plays very important role in the stimulation of the production of the sperms. So in this way we have completed the structure of the testes in detail, and the next part of the reproductive system we will see in the next lecture. So thank you for watching this video. If you like the video, don't forget to like and comment. Thank you very much.